Making headlines this hour, President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Qayyum states it is high time for individuals to take a stand against people who try to tarnish the image of the country. Maldives National Defense Force conducts special activities to mark its 126th anniversary. And North Korea announces that it will suspend nuclear and missile tests effective immediately.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, and Nasma Abdul Muhsin, and this is PSM News. President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Qayyum states it is high time for individuals to take a stand against people who try to tarnish the image of the country in their attempts to attain political motives. President Yamin made this statement while addressing the country on the occasion of the 126th anniversary of Maldives National Defense Force, MNDF.
In his official address to coincide with the 126th anniversary of Maldives National Defense Force MNDF, Commander-in-Chief President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Qayyum said that for the members of the Defense Force, no service should precede their duty to uphold Islam, the Constitution, and the freedom and sovereignty of the country. In this regard, President Yamin called on officers of the Defense Force to adhere to the oath and duty and stated that they should take firm steps to maintain peace and justice in the country. Noting that our enemies are no longer just from abroad, President Yamin emphasized that we need to defend the country from the individuals who, via unlawful actions, compromise the country's religion and the constitution, blinded by the designs on the throne in the polarized political environment. Noting the increase in attempts to abuse the influences preserved for certain authorities of the state in attempts to rise against the state, President said that the involvement of the state dignitaries in such attempts warrants introspection. On this note, President highlighted leaders who had previously served as President and Commanders-in-Chief have also called on foreign powers to invade Maldives and said that such actions should not be taken lightly by any individual, as these actions threaten the independence and sovereignty of the Maldives. President Yamin said that such actions act as weapons which would demolish the image of Maldives as a peaceful and harmonious nation. Describing the Supreme Court verdict of the 1st of February as a dangerous attack on the country, the President praised the courage shown by MNDF during the national crisis. President Yamin expressed gratitude to the Defense Force for the display of loyalty and faithfulness by the Defense Forces in every such national crisis.
Maldives National Defense Force MNDF conducts special activities to mark its 126th anniversary.
The day began with flag hoisting ceremony at Karutukkalakoshi, which was officiated by Minister of Defense and National Security, Adam Sharif Umar. Addressing the ceremony, Minister Adam Sharif Umar stated, the last year was one of the most successful years in the history of the institution. In this regard, Minister Adam Sharif Umar noted, last year, the officers of MNDF showcased exemplary discipline, leadership and cooperation. The Maldivian Defense Minister applauded the services provided by the officers, especially on the 1st of February, and credited the officers for playing a huge role in ending the efforts of the opposition to topple the lawfully elected government. The flag hoisting ceremony was attended by Chief of Defense Force Major General Ahmad Shiam, senior officials of MNDF, and a large number of soldiers. Public Service Media PSM, in collaboration with MNDF, has organized special activities to mark the event, such as continuity show and special programs on all companies' media platforms.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Dr. Mohammed Asim meets with several permanent representatives in New York to discuss issues of mutual interest, especially with regard to the United Nations Security Council. Maldives is campaigning for support in its bid to become a member of the Council for the term 2019 to 2020. Minister Asim is visiting New York to participate in the high-level meeting on peace building and sustainable peace hosted by the President of the General Assembly, as well as the ministerial segment of the Economic and Social Commission's Forum on Financing for Development. Ambassador of Maldives to the European Union (EU) Ahmed Shian states the current administration would not allow any religion other than Islam in the Maldives, regardless of any extreme measures executed by bodies such as the European Union. Responding to the report released by EU calling for freedom of religion in the country, Shian said the government of Maldives has clearly stated that Article 9 and Article 73 of the Maldivian Constitution cannot be amended as recommended by the EU, as such an amendment would contradict Islamic principles. According to the EU, the recommendations were made as Article 9 of the Maldivian Constitution stipulates that one be a Muslim to be a citizen and vote, and Article 73 of the Maldivian Constitution stipulates that one be a Sunni Muslim citizen to stand for election. In this regard, Ambassador Shian noted that President Abdullah Yameen Abdul Gayoom attaches great importance to upholding true principles of Islam in the country as part of the government's foreign policy. Ambassador Shian highlighted that the Maldivian government is working with relevant stakeholders to incorporate the recommendations made by the European Union Elections Observation Mission of 2014 as conveyed to the European Union Electoral Follow-up Mission team in January. While the EU report has received harsh criticism from most of the Maldivians, former President Mohamed Nasheed has welcomed the recommendations of the EU, despite some of the recommendations calling on Maldives to go against Islamic principles. Maldives and Congo formally established diplomatic relations. The joint communique formalizing diplomatic relations between the two countries was signed on behalf of the government of Maldives by Permanent Representative of Maldives to the United Nations, Dr. Ali Nasir Mohammed, and Permanent Representative of Congo to the United Nations, Raymond Sergei-Bal. The joint communique was signed at the Permanent Mission of Maldives to the United Nations. Congo is the 168th country to establish diplomatic relations with the Maldives. The establishment of diplomatic relations between the two countries marks a historic opening for cooperation connecting the peoples of the two countries in all areas of mutual interest. Congo is a country in Central Africa, bordering the South Atlantic Ocean with a population of approximately 4.95 million. Ministry of Environment and Energy, in collaboration with other ministries and non-governmental organizations, conduct a successful cleaning program in Male City and Vilimale prior to officially handing over of waste management of roads and public spaces in Male and Vilimale to Waste Management Corporation Limited, WAMCO.
Addressing the opening ceremony, Minister of Environment and Energy Thoriq Ibrahim noted, with the handover of the waste management of roads and public spaces in Male and Vilimale to Waste Management Corporation Limited, positive results would be seen. Applauding the effective work carried out by WAMCO, Minister Thoriq noted that the government would not allow any individual to litter into public spaces, as such action posed various risks. Minister Thoriq said strict action would be taken against individuals who do not abide by this principle. Addressing the ceremony, Minister of Housing and Infrastructure Dr. Mohammed Muiz said, it is the responsibility of each individual to keep their surrounding clean, as they themselves would be beneficiaries of positive results from a clean environment. Addressing the ceremony, Minister of Health Abdullah Nazim Ibrahim noted that health issues caused due to environmental factors are also expected to witness a major decline, with the WAMCO taking over the responsibility of cleaning roads and public spaces of Male and Vilimale. Addressing the ceremony, WHO representative to Maldives, Dr. Arvind Mathur, applauded the strategic action taken by the administration of President Abdullah Yameen Abdul Gayoom in tackling the issue of waste management in the country. Dr. Arvind Mathur said WAMCO has established itself as a reliable company which can create solutions to issues of waste management throughout Maldives.
It is a responsibility together for us. While we bring the technical know-how, knowledge and information, it is our behavior and practices which actually are very, very critical to keep our city, roads and lanes very clean and clear. My second point and the second reason why I do consider WHO as a very privileged partner to this initiative of the ministries, the partnership, the collaboration, is because of the mosquitoes. And no wonder that the health minister talked about the vectors.
The cleanup program saw participation of cabinet ministers and parliamentarians. In addition, over 4,000 participants participated from schools, colleges, government and non-governmental organizations.
Professor at the College of Law in Syria, Dr. Muhammad Habash, states the best approach in spreading the message of Islam is the right use of the tongue, heart, mind and proofs rather than opting for extreme action. Speaking on Maldives Today TV program aired on PSM News, Dr. Muhammad Habash said Islam was created without bloodshed and it should continue in that manner.
Highlighting that Islam was created without bloodshed, Professor at College of Law of Syria, Dr. Muhammad Habash said the principle should be followed by all Muslims of this generation as well. In this regard, Dr. Muhammad Habash noted Islam has always followed the principle of tolerance. The former Syrian parliamentarian stated that the best approach in spreading the message of Islam is the right use of tongue, heart, mind and proof rather than opting for extreme actions. On this note, Dr. Muhammad Habash reiterated that Islam would prevail through peace and harmony.
We have to be tolerant. It's forbidden to use any kind of weapons. We have only to call for Islam by our tongue, by our heart, by our mind, by our proofs, not by weapons. This is the life of Prophet Muhammad, peace upon him. Yes, after that, when Prophet Muhammad became the president of state, when he became the leader of state, he has now new responsibility to protect his people. After that, he created the army to protect his nation.
Noting the importance of establishing true principles of Sunnah in the modern world, Dr. Muhammad Habash noted Muslims should always coexist with other people in a harmonious society. In this regard, Dr. Muhammad Habash noted the world being an open globe, it is the best time for Muslims to showcase strong faith and understanding to others.
We have to call all of humanity to Islam. This is our responsibility, to explain Islam and to send proofs about the reality of Islam and to give good example about Muslims, about the Islamic State. This is our responsibility, to be good in this world, to be succeeds in this world. At that time, all the humanity will came to Islam. يأتون إلى دين الله أفواجا. But that not means at all we have any kind of right to use others or to force others to convert Islam.
The professor has written 53 books on topics regarding Islam and tolerance. Dr. Muhammad Habash visited Maldives to participate in the high-level seminar held on role of moderation in countering terrorism and promotion of peace and security. The seminar was organized under the collaborative effort of Ministry of Islamic Affairs, Maldives National Defense Force, National Counter-Terrorism Center, and the Maldives Police Service.
International Monetary Fund IMF says the Asian Pacific region remains the main engine of global growth in 2018 and 2019.
Chang Yong-ri, the director of Asia and Pacific Department of the IMF, made the remark when sharing the key messages of the IMF's forthcoming Asia and Pacific Regional Economy Outlook report in Washington, D.C.
Asia region remains the main engine of growth of the global economy, accounting for more than 60% of the global growth. regional output is projected to grow by 5.6% in 2018 and 2019. That is about 0.1% percentage point higher than we expected in October. This overall division was supported by external demand as well as accommodative financial conditions.
Ri added, in China, growth is expected to moderate to 6.6% in 2018, or 0.1 percentage point higher than expected in October, as financial, housing and fiscal tightening measures take effect. In Japan, growth has been above potential for 8 consecutive quarters and is expected to remain a strong 1.2% this year, while in India, growth is forecast up to 7.4% in fiscal year 2018 and 2019. Ri, however, said over the longer term, Asia faces a number of challenges from population aging, slowing productivity growth, and the digital revolution, which also brings large opportunities along with risks.
North Korea's state-run television KRT says North Korea would suspend nuclear missile tests effective immediately and abolish a nuclear test site in a bid to pursue economic growth and peace on the Korean peninsula.
This country no longer needed to conduct nuclear tests or intercontinental ballistic missile tests because it has completed its goal of developing nuclear weapons. North Korea will suspend nuclear and missile tests effective immediately and abolish a nuclear test site in a bid to pursue economic growth and peace on the Korean peninsula. It marked the first time North Korea directly addressed its nuclear weapons program ahead of leader Kim's planned summit with South Korean President Moon Jae-in next week and a meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump in late May or early June. Trump welcomed the statement and said he looked forward to summit with Kim. The announcement came after decades of nuclear tension on the Korean peninsula, pressure from the Trump administration, the death of the American university student Otto Warmbier, and attempts by then-President Barack Obama, George W. Bush, and Bill Clinton to discontinue Pyongyang's nuclear program. North Korea has defended its nuclear and missile programs in the face of worldwide condemnation and sanctions as necessary deterrent against perceived U.S. hostility. The decision was made at a plenary meeting held by North's ruling party.
Israeli troops shot dead 4 Palestinians and wounded 700 on the Gaza-Israel border on Friday as a series of mass protests in the enclave reached its halfway mark.
Israeli forces have shot dead 4 Palestinians, including a 15-year-old boy, as more than 10,000 gathered in a mass demonstration in the besieged Gaza Strip, demanding the right of return for Palestinian refugees. The Palestinian Ministry of Health said at least 729 people protesting near the border with Israel were wounded by Israeli gunfire, needed treatment for tear gas inhalation, or suffered other injuries. Palestinian officials identified those killed as Muhammad Ibrahim Ayoub, 15 years old, Ahmed Rashid, 24 years old, Ahmed Abu Aqil, 25 years old, and Saad Abdul Majid Abdul Al Abu Taha, 29 years old. Friday's demonstration was the fourth in as many weeks of planned, weeks-long sit-in dubbed the Great March of Return. The latest deaths bring the number of Palestinians killed by Israel since the protest began in late March to 39. According to the Health Ministry, more than 4,000 people have been wounded. Despite international criticism over the use of lethal force, Israel has refused to reverse its open fire policy and continues to deploy snipers along the border.